Welcome everyone to Libertarians Drinking Coffee live. Yes, I am here and the brand is strong. Yes, it is, because I've got to keep my coffee going, otherwise I can't survive. I am very lucky today. I have with me someone who is actually not just talking the talk, which we all tend to do, but also walking the walk and trying to make impact in her community and all around. The one, the only co-founder of Pheed Philly, that's Pheed, because she's super cool, woman herself, Francine, also known as Frankie Abel. How are you?
I'm doing very well, Larry. Thank you so much for having me on the show today. I'm pumped.
I am happy that you were here. And for those of you who want to, let other people know this is working, hey, do me a favor, like, comment, share. It does matter. It lets people know that we're doing cool things here. But for those people who don't know, Pheed Philly is literally about making things better in Philadelphia. And it's not a government organization, which is agencies are supposed to do everything. They clearly don't. But the thing that I remember, you or your co-founder, one of you said something that was insightful to me. You said, I understand why people look away when they see somebody in need, right? I understand it, right? I get it. It's a tough thing. We don't like it. It doesn't feel good for us. But you and your organization, you didn't just look away. You actually decided to do something. Tell me about that.
So Pheed Philly started a couple years ago. We're a pretty young organization. I think 2018 was when we really did our first handout event. And most of that stemmed from Sarah and I each having individual experiences at the same time, witnessing somebody that was homeless or thinking about people that don't have a roof over their head in the middle of the winter. So for me, I saw after a work party, we were walking down the street back to our car, and I saw a gentleman sit down on the sidewalk, put his head in his hands. He had no shoes on his feet. He had holes in his socks. And immediately I feel like I was just called to it, right? I elbowed my husband, and I was like, let's go get this guy a pair of shoes, right? That was like what I wanted to do. And he was like, well, we got to get home, we got to get back to our kids. But like, you're a smart person. Think about it. Think about what you might want to do. I'm sure you can figure out a way to help somebody that would be in a position like his.
That, by the way, is very savvy of your husband.
Yes. He's my best cheerleader. He's incredible. He's really a wonderful person.
So I'm glad. Savvy that he didn't go, fine, let's buy the shoes and keep you happy, crazy woman, or something dumb like that, which some people would have done, or just got mad at you and said, we got our own problems or something. He didn't do either of those things. He said, all right, you're ready to rock and roll? Okay, let's rock and roll then. I love the fact that you had that support system. That's amazing.
Yeah, he's really wonderful, and he knows that I'm a doer. He knows that me going to buy a pair of shoes would not satiate the need to do more. So he's been incredibly supportive through this entire process. He volunteers with us all the time. He's the best. So at the same time I'm having this situation, it was around New Year's Eve. Sarah was out with a friend, and they went up on the roof to like do the 12 o'clock midnight thing. And she was like, wow, it is sub-zero freezing out here. How spoiled are we that we get to go inside and we have a roof over our head and we get to warm up in like seconds. And there's so many people literally out there in the middle of Philadelphia right now that have absolutely nowhere to go. Right. So she actually did an original handout event with her family. They did about 40 care packages that they put together.
Tell me what a handout event is. You know what that is. I don't. Tell me what a handout event is.
Sure. So the one that Sarah did, her family made a big batch of like chicken noodle soup, put it in like reusable coffee mugs, hot mugs, and they put a bunch of snacks and supplies and food and everything into a care package. And then they went around Philadelphia handing them out. So at this point, I was off social media. I was texting with my parents in a group chat, like, I have to do something. I have to figure something out. And my brother, who went to college with Sarah, was like, well, did you see what Sarah just did? And I was like, no, I'm not on social media at the moment. Like, can you tell me what's going on? And then he sent me her post. And I reached out immediately, and I was like, let's do this. Like, I want to do
Nice.
this big scale. We can bring in plenty of donations. I went and I actually set up a GoFundMe originally. I think it's still there. I don't think it's archived. So if you look up Pheed Philly on GoFundMe, that's how we started.
You can still do it.
And
Or, by the
yeah,
way, you could also go to feedphilly.org, what's going across the bottom of your screen, and check
yes,
out what they're doing and support them if you like. Or, of course, if you look in the show description, I actually put their link tree, which gives you options. Look at their
yes,
Facebook page, all the goodies. So just click donate if you want to throw a couple bucks their way, particularly if you live in the Philly area. But
yes,
anywhere, if you want to help out, you can. But Feed Philly doesn't only need dollars. They do, but they also need volunteers. So if you're in the area and you want to come out and do something, and you want to be that cool libertarian and do something, Feed Philly, not a bad idea. I'm sorry, keep going.
No, that's awesome. Thank you so much for even plugging the website, the link tree. Like, you can, if anybody has any questions or anything about what we do, how we do it, where we do it, definitely reach out to us. You can reach out to me directly. You can reach out to us via the website. So about the handout events, what we do, every single handout event, we assemble at least 100 care packages.
Okay.
And these care packages are put together by usually a handful, probably 10 volunteers that we get together. And we do it assembly line style, walk down and you fill the bags with all the supplies.
Okay, sure.
And then we also have usually a separate team on the other side that's actually making fresh sandwiches, because we think it's really important to put something with legitimate nutrition into these bags as well.
Sure.
So we do usually some kind of meat and cheese sandwich. We include little condiment packets if they're into it or not. Like,
They can put some mustard or some mayo on there if they want to, whatever's their thing. Okay.
Exactly. And then we make sure that we have fresh fruit in there as well. We usually do 2 pieces of fruit, multiple bottles of water, and then there's all sorts of different supplies as well. So outside of like the snacks and all that kind of stuff, we have a partnership with a company called Bombas, which
Bombas, you said.
Bombas, Bombas, and they are a sock company.
Yes, I know the sock company. I do. Yes, I know the sock company.
Yes, they're actually really wonderful socks. Like, I've always purchased them myself. And then once we finally got our nonprofit status, I was like, you know what, Sarah, I'm going to reach out to Bombas and see if there's like some kind of partnership we can do there. And they send us thousands of socks a year to distribute.
That's amazing. That is really good. I like that. So you've actually allowed, this is both corporate and nonprofit doing something that government is not doing well enough.
Yes.
Actually make a difference. I like that. So let me walk down that road.
Sure.
Right? You're making success now in Philly. Do you have a massive goal? Do you have like we're going to feed the world? Or do you have what they call in business, the BHAG, the big, hairy, audacious goal? Do you have one of those or no?
We do. Sarah and I, from the start of this, I mean, we started in Philly just because, I was locally there at the time, and she had plenty of friends in Philly. We actually ended up switching. I went back to New Jersey, and she moved into Philly like halfway through.
Okay.
But we want to eventually have essentially like a state chapter in each state, if at all possible. Okay. We would like to at least start expanding in the Northeast right now as much as we can. We have a lot of
but hold on, does it then become like Feed New Jersey with the PH? Is that how that works? Or is it just Feed Philly everywhere? I don't know. You got to do the Feed Philly thing somehow, right?
I know. We probably keep the feed, like the PHEED, and then just change the state would be my guess. But don't quote me on that. Sarah and I haven't necessarily discussed a name for other organizations. Okay. But we do definitely want to expand. And I have some friends in Jersey, in the Newark area, that were interested in doing an event with us. Nice. We were reached out to by somebody in Connecticut that was interested in potentially starting a chapter. So we're open to these types of things. Our end goal is to serve and feed and clothe as many people that need it as possible.
So how do you know you're winning? In other words, how do you measure that? How do you know you're being effective? Is it number of bags you give out, number of people who show up? Is it amount of money you raise? I mean, there's so many ways that an organization like yours could measure that we're winning. How do you measure that you're winning?
For me, the success actually comes from doing the events and actually having face-to-face interactions with people that are receiving the care package from us. There is nothing that means more than having that moment with a person where they realize, wow, somebody is actually recognizing that I'm here. Somebody took the time to put something together and hand it off to me, and somebody is actually taking a moment to connect to me on a human-to-human level. That, to me, is like the biggest measure of success personally. We have raised a very decent amount of money doing what we do. We are growing our followers on social media. We have plenty of people volunteering. We have so many people sharing our stuff, but the success really comes to me when we're able to help as many people as possible. So if we can start running larger scale events and stuff like that, that to me would say success.
So then, is it scalable, right? Should it be? I guess like the feeling I have is what you're telling me is, all right, we want to grow. I got it. That sounds great. But my gut tells me that a lot of this happened because two local people saw a local problem and wanted to repair it. And I'm going to guess, and you tell me if I'm wrong here, that a lot of people who were trying to do something else and were failing said, oh, you're doing something, and came to you. I would assume a bunch of the people who have joined your association or who are volunteering have had experience doing it someplace else, but probably not as effective as you. Is that true, or am I wrong on this?
Well, we do see it, and we see other organizations that do similar things, but not necessarily the same things. So what's beautiful about that, specifically in a place like Philadelphia, is that there's a real sense of community there. So as long as you have, I guess, a place that notices this type of situation in their community, and they want to kind of tackle that from an outside of government perspective, I think it's absolutely scalable. We can provide many things to anybody that would be interested in potentially running a chapter for us in another state type situation, or another city even, for sure.
Someone on Facebook posts, this woman is incredibly knowledgeable and really cool. You have a fan. Can she run for a state senate in PA to implement the policy to do that so people can help people like the way she's doing now? Now, I want to step in for a second before you answer.
Sure.
No, don't do that. That is, we just said this is people doing stuff without government getting involved. She's good at this. Don't get her away from this. I'm sorry. Go ahead, and now you can answer after I blatantly just totally poisoned the well. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. I mean, I don't think personally that government solutions are going to necessarily fix some of the issues that we are directly addressing. I mean, I looked recently. I don't know if these numbers are still the same, but I know that the city of Philadelphia received like tens of millions of dollars to address homelessness within the city. And if you look at the amount of people on the street alone, I mean, I think it was something like 5,000 plus people are homeless in Philadelphia alone, and I think about a fifth of them are actually physically unhoused, like they don't have shelters or anything like that. So you have tens of millions of dollars to address homelessness via the government, and what are they doing with it? There's so much red tape, there's too many regulations, and it's a detriment to actually voluntarily trying to help people that are in need, in my opinion.
Well, the thing that I want to bring up also is, look, the movement and the party are two separate things. The liberty movement is all-encompassing, and the party is a part of the movement. If the party were to die, I don't want it to die, but if the party were to die, the movement still exists without the party. If the movement dies, the party's finished, right? So the party needs the movement far more than the movement needs the party. Don't get me wrong. The movement's stronger with the party. And we do want people in the party doing party things. Absolutely. And I focus on the party myself. It's clear. I focus on candidates. I focus on the party. And to the Facebook user, I'm teasing, but I do want to make it clear to everybody watching and paying attention that not everybody should focus on everything. We should focus on the parts of the movement that we're best at, that we enjoy, that we want to get up and do, that we want to be part of. And just because someone happens to be smart or savvy doesn't mean make them run for president. It doesn't mean that. It means we should all be doing the part of the thing that we are most passionate and good at, whatever that is.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. And even still, like I'm in New Jersey now, so I couldn't run for you in PA.
Ah, there we go. There we go.
But I do,
Yes.
I am the North Regional Chair of the New Jersey Libertarian Party as well.
There we go.
So I am.
Nicholas is there. He just says
Oh, hi,
Frankie
Nick.
and Pheed Philly is an all-star, huge asset for New Jersey. So New Jersey stole you. Okay, smart move.
They stole me back. Yes, I and Nick is running in South Jersey as well. He's an incredible candidate. So look him up if you're in the Legislative District 4, I believe it is. He's doing a lot of work down there to try and fix New Jersey. We all are. So.
I love it. And again, I want to be clear. If you're looking to help the movement out, then do me a favor. Head on over to feedphilly.org. It's going across the bottom is phfeedphilly.org to see what they're doing. Or you can just go to the link. I put their link tree in the description. So click on that link tree. You see everything they're doing. And if you want to help out, help out. Click and donate. Throw them a couple bucks. They can use they got to buy sandwiches, right? That costs money, right? You got to buy bread and condiment packets so people can have mayo or mustard, whatever's their cool, maybe even ketchup, whatever's their thing, right? Whatever's their thing on their sandwich, right? They can have that. And on top of it, if you don't have the cash, you live in a Philly area, they need help. They need physical people. Someone's got to deliver the sandwiches, right? Someone's got to be there.
Do. And it's tough too. The way that we do it to ensure that the people that we want to get these care packages are getting them is we literally split the city up into zones, and then a car full of people in care packages will head out to their zones, and then we'll distribute as much as we can for about an hour or two, and at the end of the day, we usually end up in Kensington, which is a pretty rough part of Philadelphia that is pretty enthralled with the opioid crisis right now. So they
could use your help the most.
Yeah, for sure.
So let me ask about that. I mean, you talked about the red tape and such. Did you start as an organization? Did you and Sarah go, you know what, let's start a 501c3? Is that what you did? Did you just start? Did you do both? How did you, if there's someone right now who's thinking, I want to go do something and help somebody in a certain way, if they were to follow your method, is your method go get the 501c3? Is it get a lawyer? How did that begin when you had the passion to do the thing? What did you do?
Sure. So as I had mentioned before, we originally started as a GoFundMe account, and people were throwing donations to us via GoFundMe, and we started to apply to different corporations to see if they would be interested in providing us some kind of goods or any type of support whatsoever. And we actually ran into so many roadblocks. People weren't necessarily interested in donating to us if they weren't getting their tax breaks, essentially. Yep. So absolutely. Because of that, Sarah, God bless her, she kind of spearheaded our formation of the 501c3 so that we could inspire people to actually help us out more and to contribute more.
So you could begin, if I get it right, you could begin doing it on your own, but for you to have the biggest impact, which was hopefully from getting more corporate assistance and larger donors, you kind of had to get the 501c3 to make that happen.
Right, exactly. It definitely, it opened up a lot of doors, and it gave us a lot of opportunities. Now, that's not to say that every corporation that we've reached out to partner with requires the 501c3.
Sure.
But the majority of them really do look for that, and it's something that has actually helped us grow exponentially beyond what we ever would have thought of that first handout event that we did via GoFundMe back in the winter of 2018. It's been a wild ride. Yeah.
I love that. Brian says, solutions sell. Frankie gets it.
I love Brian. Brian is amazing. I also help out with social media for the Brian Nichols Show. So I'm trying to get involved as much as I can to try and help in as many ways possible to kind of spread the message that voluntarily doing things does so much more than trying to make the government do what you're trying to do for you.
Absolutely. So, I've been on Brian's show. Brian's been on mine. 100%.
I love him.
Yes.
He's
great guy. Missy says, this sounds completely amazing. And you get a butterfly emoji. Come on.
Thank you,
Butterfly
Missy.
emotion. Not so bad.
So nice.
And Carly says, I've been following Pheed Philly for years. Fran and Sarah are inspirations. I wish for more grassroots operations like theirs. And the reason why I bring that part up is I think most people believe that grassroots can't work because it seems so intimidating. They always think, well, if I want to do something, I have to go, petition the government, or I have to run for office, or I have to join some nonprofit. And not that any of those are bad ideas. They're all good ideas, right? If you think that's the right answer in your world, please do that. But I think that the sad part is most people think what you did is the most impossible one, when in reality, the most impossible one is actually the government doing it right.
Yeah. It's I can't say that it has been incredibly easy. There have been a number of hoops that we had to jump through initially to get ourselves established, and even still, just kind of getting attention on the project is a feat in and of itself. So yeah, it was very daunting. But Sarah and I were so in love with the project that we created together. It is our baby together, and we wanted and needed to see it succeed because it meant so much to us to do this.
Sure.
So yeah,
that's great. That is great. Charlie asked, I seem to remember people in Philadelphia getting harassed by the city doing similar operations. Have you had any trouble from City Hall?
Knock on wood, not yet.
Yes. Nice.
And I think a lot of that is because of our distribution method. We are stealthy. We are fast.
I like that.
We walk up to, normally, if you're walking past somebody in Center City, Philadelphia, and they're sitting with their sign and, panhandling or whatever, we just walk up to them and we're like, hey, are you hungry? Do you need supplies? Here's a care package, and we move on.
Got it. So you're too fast, they can't catch you.
Too
I like
fast,
that.
yes.
In and out. I love that. Look, guys, if you want to help her be that stealthy Robin Hood type, I love it. That's awesome. Head over to feedphilly.org. That's PHEED, right? Feedphilly.org.
Yep.
And check out what they're doing. The link tree is in the description. Click there, see what they're doing. If you've got some cash you want to give, please give. If you can't give, you're not in the right spot, no worries at all. They need volunteers also, right? They also need people to be that food ninja.
Yes, we do
Isn't
need
that
volunteers.
A game, Food Ninja? Anyway, yes.
I think that's Fruit Ninja, yes.
Oh, Fruit Ninja, there we go, yeah.
Yes.
I'm old, I mess up, I'm sorry, yes.
But we also need people to follow us and like and share our stuff. So we need your help in the algorithms, because it's very easy to get buried in all of the social media algorithms. So if you can like and share and retweet or what have you on our social media accounts, that really does a lot, and it brings in a lot of people. Look at how I ended up here today. This is because Rufo retweeted me and got me in contact with you. Shout out to Mike Rufo, he's a hero. And here we are. So social media is really, really powerful tool to get your messaging across. So if you like what we're doing, you can follow us on Instagram, you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and you can share our stuff as you see it pop up, because that actually makes a huge difference as well. The more eyes we get on the project, that means that we can grow it to where we want to grow it, and then potentially even bring in people that might want to help out in different areas of the country.
I love that. Rufo yelled at me, and I was like, okay, I'll do it. Fine, stop yelling. So it's all good. No worries.
He can be scary.
Yes. So tell me about the community hygiene truck.
Yes, the community hygiene truck. Yes.
Okay.
That is an absolutely incredible project that Sarah and I got very luckily added to somehow in some way by the incredible people that we're working with. That there's two groups. It's mostly led by Broad Street Ministry, and also there's another group, Bloody Bitches, which they actually handle a lot of feminine menstrual products and stuff like that. So they'll be distributing.
The name makes sense. I like it.
Yeah, they have a great logo too. It's super cool. So what we're doing with this truck is it's essentially going to be a big box truck that's outfitted with sinks on the outside of the truck. So with the pandemic, we ran into, obviously a situation where people on the street wouldn't necessarily be able to wash their hands and keep themselves clean throughout this entire problem. And it makes a huge difference in health just to be able to wash your hands, brush your teeth.
Yes.
Those types of things. And then
also just feeling human. right? Having some dignity, right? Being able to clean
Exactly.
yourself, clean your hands, wash your face, just feeling like, okay, I'm part of society, all those things.
Yeah, it really does make a huge difference. In addition to having the sinks, we're going to be able to use the truck for our distribution as well when we're running our events. So if you see a big truck driving by in Philadelphia with sinks on the outside of it, that is an incredible project that we are very, very proud to be a part of. And I think it's going to be, I believe it's going to be released in the next couple of months. But I'm not 100% sure on that. I'd have to go back and check. But it is definitely a project to watch. We are so pumped about it. It offers something very basic and simple that most people take for granted every single day to people that just don't have that opportunity.
Yes,
so we're
absolutely.
really thrilled about that project, and everybody at Broad Street Ministry and the girls at Bloody Bitches, like it's really been an incredible experience, and we are absolutely thrilled to be a part of it.
Sarah says, I think seen in a city, someone made a shower truck. It has showers where they put up tent walls and people can shower quick. Yeah. It's funny. It's a good story. This actually popped up in New York City years ago. Years ago, when we were talking about the homeless problem, we had a private company that had a shower truck, literally, and it also had clothes. So people who were in some way homeless on the street could literally go in, shower, and actually change clothes. And the logic was, if you're in a position where you're homeless, but you're working poor, or you're ready to go back, or considering going back home, or getting a job, or have an opportunity, how can you do any of those things if you literally haven't showered in weeks, if your clothes are the same clothes you've been wearing for 3-4 weeks? So the idea was, go shower, get them some clothes, and maybe you'll decide it's time to go back home and ask for some help. Maybe it's time to look for that job. Maybe it's time to do something. Or more importantly, that became a place where people who wanted to help people could go, right? So if you knew you had someone, say maybe you had a mental illness, or maybe a veteran who was in trouble, or you were looking for your loved one, you could go to that place and they might be there, and you could have maybe a chance at helping somebody who's ready to make that step. And as you know, many times people who are homeless, sometimes not ready to make that step, right? Depends upon the individual, right? But if they're ready, you're there when they're ready to make that step, right? You're there for them. And the city shut them down because of parking permits.
It's absurd. It's absurd.
Yes.
It's absurd. Like, I can't even wrap my head around it. How could you potentially think that this is some kind of detriment because of parking? Like,
yes.
Why would you stop something that helps so many people, especially like people that are really putting forth an effort to get back into society or find a way into society? Like, it just boggles my mind sometimes, the kinds of regulations that get put into place that impede stuff like this, you know?
What drives me crazy is some judge thought that was a good idea.
Right. Yeah.
And Mayor, I think it
So
was
sad.
Bloomberg back then. I think it might have been Bloomberg at the time. Yeah, I think it was Bloomberg at the time. And like Bloomberg didn't go, what are you doing? Stop, leave it alone. And a judge didn't go, what are you doing? Leave them alone. Stop. What harm are they? Because maybe there won't be some parking. Okay,
Yeah,
but there won't
overparking of all
but
things,
there'll be
right.
less homeless people in the street, and maybe somebody might actually be helped. Maybe, and this is my whole point, maybe there's a time when that was that person who was ready to get help, ready to make the step, and there was somebody there when they were ready, and that person might not be homeless anymore. I mean, that part drives me crazy.
Yeah, it is absolutely wild. And we have so many organizations that we work with too that kind of collaborate on things like this. Like Philly Unknown is a great organization run by our friend Britt. We also work with an incredible young man named Joshua Santiago. His organization is called Empowering Cuts, and he provides haircuts, free haircuts to the homeless. We've done a couple of events with him now where we do like a cafeteria style feeding alongside him doing haircuts. So that's the really nice thing about Philadelphia is, again, it's a community feel. People come together to make their city a better place. So if you're interested in making your city a better place or actually tackling a problem that you see, I'm sure there's plenty of people that you can collaborate with. And if what we do is something that you really like and you're interested in starting something like that, reach out to us for sure. We're open to all
I love
of
what
it.
you're talking about, right? So many people are thinking, the only way to help the homeless is just to put them in a shelter, right? Well, that's not a bad thing to give people shelter. That's a good thing. I hope you can give people shelter. But you want someone to be able in their head to, one, believe that they're worthy of getting out of the situation. And many of them don't believe that. And then two, believe that it's possible that they can get out of the situation. Many of them don't believe that. And creating the community you're talking about, saying, hey, there are people who care about you. Hey, there's a community at large still out here that will take you back, right? We'll take you back. I think that helps get the person who's in that spot to go, huh, okay, maybe it is possible. Maybe I am worthy. Maybe I should put my hand out and try to get some actual help to move to that next step. And maybe it's possible. And then if people are more open to it, then we've got a shot at actually making some change. But Adam says they don't like competition doing a job they're supposed to be doing. Yeah, government hates competition. That's true. They are a monopoly. Mm-hmm. That's absolutely true.
Yes.
So we talked about how you started. We talked about the handing out the events where you hand out the food. We talked about the hygiene truck. Is there anything that we should be talking about that we didn't before we wrap this up?
I mean, I feel like that covers a lot. Everybody knows what we're doing now and where we're going. I mean, eventually Sarah and I have dreams of being able to quit our jobs and actually do something like this full time. That'd be great. Phenomenal. And just when you see somebody in need, it's so hard to take that moment sometimes to just be like, hey, can I help you out with something? And we got really inspired by that. So I would want people that find themselves inspired to actually follow that spark, because if we hadn't have done that, I would never have believed in 2018 that I would be sitting here with you, Larry Sharp, talking about my organization that feeds the homeless. It's special to us. It was important to us, and we were motivated by it. So when you find something that really lights that fire for you, that really makes you want to get involved, follow it. Life is so short. If something really strikes you and is important to you, dive into it. Make time 100%. For it.
Absolutely. I love that. And for anybody who thinks that Pheed Philly might be for them, please head over to feedphilly.org, PHEED Philly.org, or click on the link. I put the link tree right there in the description, and see if you can help them out in some way. Do you want to support that cool hygiene truck? Do you want to support other things they're doing? You can donate money if you think that's appropriate. If not, you can volunteer if you're in the Philly area, or you can be their social media warrior, and you can do the liking and the commenting and the sharing and letting people know that this organization exists, so that we can make sure that people get it and that people are understanding it. And Charlie just said, share this broadcast to a friend in Philadelphia who's a social worker. There we go.
Awesome.
Hopefully I can get you some good help. Good luck.
That's
there
fantastic.
We go. See?
It's all about community and working together to make things a better place. Everybody wants it to get better. You don't walk outside every day and you're like, wow, I really enjoy seeing all these homeless people sitting around out here. No, everybody wants to work together to make it better. And I mean, a social worker connection would be fantastic for us, because that'll help us get some of the people that we serve in contact with somebody that might be able to help them in a way that we actually can't. So it's really important to network as well. If you see an avenue where you think you can work with Pheed Philly, even if it's not something that we've talked about here, bring it up to us. We are open to everything.
There we go. Sandra says, my husband and I have taken in and helped homeless. It does more for those that help than those that receive the help. Look at that.
It really does. It's an incredible thing. And every time we do an event, it's both inspiring and depressing. It's really a roller coaster. But it is meaningful. And I think a lot of people are always looking for something meaningful in their lives. So
we're all looking for purpose. Absolutely. Yes. I love it. Tony says, it's a shame that so many veterans are homeless. Thanks for helping them. Look at you.
You're welcome, Dad. That's my dad.
Oh, is that right? Great, Dad. Glad you're watching. I appreciate
that. Love you, Dad.
Yes. Well, everybody, I want to say thank you all for watching this afternoon, giving us a chunk of your afternoon. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming on, Francine. I appreciate that. And for everyone else watching, As always, Libertarians Drinking Coffee Live. We try to do it once a week if we can. And I will be on again later on this evening with some other person I've actually forgotten. I'm teasing. I will be on this evening at 7 p.m. I'm totally teasing. I will see you all very soon.
Thank you.